Every human being, at some point in their life, asks the same question. Why am I here? Not when life is easy, not when things are going well, but when something inside, something quiet and persistent, begins to feel empty. You may have a career, you may have success, you may have everything society told you to chase, and yet something still feels missing. So the question returns: what is the real purpose of life? From the moment we are born, we are given a map. Study hard, get a good job, build a career, make money, be successful, and if you follow this path, we are told you will eventually arrive at happiness. But something strange happens. Many people reach the destination, only to discover that the feeling they were chasing is still not there. History is full of these examples. Powerful leaders, wealthy entrepreneurs, celebrities admired by millions. And yet, many of them quietly confess the same thing. I thought success would make me fulfilled, but it didn't. So if success is not the answer, what is? Let me tell you about a man named Leo Tolstoy. By the time he was 50 years old, Tolstoy had everything. He was one of the most celebrated writers in the world. He was wealthy, famous, respected. He had a loving family and a reputation. And then, in the middle of all of it, he fell into a crisis so deep that he could not explain it to anyone around him. He wrote, "My life came to a stop. I could breathe, eat, drink, sleep, but there was no real life in me because I had no desires." He had everything the world said would bring happiness, and he felt nothing. Not sadness, something worse than sadness. Emptiness. Tolstoy spent years searching. What he eventually found was not a formula. It was a direction. Life, he concluded, only has meaning when it is lived for something beyond yourself. Not for fame, but for something that survives you. There is an old story. A wealthy businessman was traveling through a small coastal village. He saw a fisherman sitting beside his boat. The businessman asked him, "Why aren't you out fishing?" The fisherman smiled. "I already caught enough fish for today. But if you worked harder," said the businessman, "you could catch more fish." "And then what?" asked the fisherman. "You could make more money. And then?" "Then you could buy a bigger boat, then a fishing company, expand, become very rich." The fisherman smiled again. "And then what?" "Well, then you could retire, move to a quiet village, relax by the ocean with the people you love." The fisherman looked at him steadily. But isn't that exactly what I'm doing now?" This story reveals something uncomfortable. Many people spend their entire lives running toward a future that looks exactly like the life they could be living today. We sacrifice our time, our peace, our relationships, our health, all for a destination that promises happiness later. But later keeps moving. The promotion, the next milestone, the bigger house, the next goal. And suddenly, decades have passed, and the question is still there, waiting. For thousands of years, the wisest people who ever lived tried to answer this question. What is the purpose of life? Happiness, wisdom, or service? But one idea appears again and again. The purpose of life is not simply to achieve things. It is to become someone, to grow, to understand, to experience, to love, to struggle, to learn, and ultimately, to awaken to what truly matters, not at the end, along the way. Perhaps life is not a race to a finish line. Perhaps it is something closer to a journey of becoming, where every challenge shapes us. Think about the people you most admire, not the wealthiest ones, the ones whose presence makes you feel something real, something inconfundable. They are not admired for what they accumulated. They are admired for what they became. The purpose may be something we create quietly, daily. I want to ask you something. When you reach the end, what will success look like to you? Not the version you tell people, but the real one. There was a nurse named Bronnie Ware who cared for people in their final weeks. She wrote down what they regretted. I wish I had lived a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Not, I wish I had worked harder. They wished they had been more themselves, more honest about what they wanted, to honor the life that was theirs. These are not the regrets of people who failed, but of people who succeeded externally and still felt they had missed something essential. Successful at what? And at what cost? One day, every human being will reach the same moment, a quiet moment of reflection. And in that moment, the question will return. Did I truly live? Did I love? Did I grow? Did I become the person I was meant to be? Did I spend my time on things that mattered? Or on things that only seemed to matter? Perhaps that is the real purpose of life, not to arrive somewhere, but to become someone. And the journey is happening right now. My name is Salomon, and these are the questions I have spent a lifetime thinking about. Every week, I come back to this chair to share what I have learned about time, about honesty, about the people we choose to surround ourselves with, about fear, about health, about what it means to truly live. Wisdom. If that is what you are looking for, you are in the right place. Subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.